Monday Mukbang!
Alright, welcome to Omni's Eat Vegan Monday Mukbang. And pardon the sound of a lawnmower, our neighbor decided he needed to mow the lawn right now. Alright, so today we are going to be eating salsa. So I got mild salsa, John and Neil has some medium salsa, and some guacamole. And that was made in the grocery store. So we also have Snyder's of Hanover restaurant style tortilla chips. We got 2 bags here. These are
Both the same.
15 ounces. So John and Neil and I are here on screen. Off to the left here is
Nickel.
Off to the left here is Nick. He's going to be eating some chips with us. Do you want some salsa too? He's just not on screen because he didn't want to participate in this conversation. So, topic for conversation today. Oh, I forgot to say we have paste salsa.
Paste.
Looking at the ingredients, it looks like it's vegan. John looked into the Snyder's chips. They look like they were vegan too. So, we tried. So topic for today's discussion is our favorite books.
Yeah.
So, I don't know guys, who wants to start? Who wants to talk about their favorite book first?
I'll go since
Alright.
I'm not very. I don't read a lot. Usually when I read, it's a book that I'm more very highly interested in.
You mean AKA a book you like?
Yeah,
Which is what we're talking about?
there's a lot of books I've started and never finished, and then there's a lot. I think there's only like I'd have to say probably like 20 books in my lifetime I ever like really sat down and finished. I think my favorite, and it's a series, is Legend. It's by Mary Lou. It's very more futuristic in sort of sense, and it's
Dystopian, right?
yeah, it's dystopian, and it's kind of like how to put it. The basis of the story is that every child has to go through schooling and take this take a test at the end of schooling to see where they end up. And there's 2 main characters. It flip-flops between a girl and a boy, and and they do it by actually different coloring of text. And it just goes through these story arcs of the boy.
So the text is actually different colors?
Mm-hmm. They still say like the character's name
Right.
in the beginning of the thing, but they do it different colors, and I find that kind of really interesting. And
caught it.
And so it's about a girl that's in a more of a richer family, has servants, and is able to pass the test with ease, and this boy who lives in a more of a lower down part of the city, who within the story you learn to find out that he also passed the test with very high numbers, but still forced to be in the lower class setting because they don't want someone of that title to rise up.
Okay. I'm gonna keep it up. Thank you.
I believe there's 3 books. I don't know if there's a 4th one. I have all 3. I've read 1 and 2. Or I stopped reading the 3rd one. I probably should. I'm probably going to go back and reread the first 2 before I finish the 3rd one. But I think that's been the most. I think that's been the only real series I've sat down and read. I've tried reading Game of Thrones. I've gotten through like 25% of that book, the first book, and I've wanted to try and finish it, but anytime I go back, I don't know what it is. I always get like disinterested in it.
That book is very hard to follow. If you've read the books and not seen the TV show on HBO, which I haven't seen the TV show, I think I saw like a couple episodes, but I read all the books that have been put out so far. It's very hard to follow because they keep killing off characters and bringing new characters in.
This is not bad.
I actually was listening to those on books on tape or books on CD in my car because I used to have a really long commute to work, but I changed jobs, so I don't do that anymore. But I listened to all of the books, and the end of the one book, I was absolutely in tears. So, like, you do get invested in those characters, definitely. I do like the Game of Thrones series for books.
My favorite books probably would be the Lord of the Rings. I haven't read them recently, but I own a couple. Actually, I own a couple different editions of them. Leather bound. Also like The Hobbit. I was very excited when they became movies.
And you weren't totally disappointed in the movies either.
No, I was actually pretty pleased most of the time. I guess I like a lot of.
What about your Garrett books?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say next. It's an author by the name of Glenn Cook writes a detective series that's sort of, I don't know. It's fantasy because it's a human detective dealing with trolls and orcs and so on and so forth, and elves and dwarves and
Real trolls, not internet trolls.
yeah, real trolls, not internet trolls. And she's so funny. It's a good, pardon me, it's a good series. I also like The Black Company, another series by him. I also like some really classic literature, like probably another one of my favorites is Sherlock Holmes.
I love Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. I like Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Okay.
I think he wrote Tarzan. He also wrote John Carter, which got turned into a Disney movie and failed. But it's a good book. It's a great book. It's a really interesting idea. Those are probably my favorite. So pretty much I live in the realm of
Fantasy.
the fantasy, which is, you know, that's what life is like when you're married to Jessica.
Oh, I love reading. I write fiction for fun as a hobby, but I love reading. I like the Game of Thrones. I love Sherlock Holmes. Probably some of my more favorite books that I love to read. I love the Harry Potter books.
We could never tell.
I've read them multiple times.
You've seen the movies
I've seen the movies multiple times. I've listened to them on books on CD multiple times. I really enjoy those books. I also really enjoy, like, you okay?
Yeah.
I also really enjoy Anne Rice books, like Interview with the Vampire, The Vampire Lestat. I've read, I think, her entire Vampire Chronicles series. Maybe not some of the more recent ones if she's put any out. I think she has put a couple out. I think she has put a couple out in the most recent years here. But within about the last 5 years, prior to 5 years ago, I had read everything she put out in the Vampire Chronicles. She started going a little bit into like a witchcraft type of thing, and that's kind of where I drew the line. I didn't really read into that, but the Vampire Chronicles I really enjoyed a lot. I actually just said to John a couple nights ago, do we have Interview with a Vampire in a book form? Because I'd really like to read that.
You do.
I think you have it, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy Stephen King. I've read a lot of his books. I also read murder mysteries. For a while there, I was going through the entire Sue Grafton series. The A is for, B is for. I also read, for a while there, I went through a little period of time where I was reading combination books, like they're murder mystery / recipe books. Like there's several series that do that. And I read like every single series. I think there was like 3 or 4 in my local library. I read like every single book. Those were really fun. So I read those. I pretty much read a bunch of different genres. I love autobiographies. I really, really enjoy autobiographies. Now it has to be on a person that I'm interested in, but I do read a lot of autobiographies. Honestly, I haven't been reading much in the last year or so since I've really gotten into YouTube. I've been spending a lot of my time editing videos and coming up with different plans and stuff for what we were going to do. But I do love to read. I still enjoy writing. John and I do a writing class at our local library, like once a week. They do it twice a year for 8 weeks. So, what about 4 months out of the year, I guess, we go once a week to do our little writing thing. And that's a lot of fun. I also am involved in another writing group in the adjacent county to us. So I just really enjoy writing. I really enjoy reading a lot of different books. I haven't been reading, like I said, a lot since I've been doing the YouTube stuff for last year, and I very much miss it. I need to go out and dig out some books. And my commute to and from work has gone from 6 hours in a day down to about an hour. So I haven't been doing the books on CD, but I really enjoyed that, and I'm thinking about getting back into that because that's an hour a day that I can really like read my books that I'm not doing now. So I really do got to get back into that. But you were going to say something about Stephen King, I think?
Well, I did have something before that as well. The other thing you also used to like to read was not teen and fiction. You used to love reading
I did.
Hunger Games, Twilight. I don't know if you ever read The Maze Runner.
No, I didn't. But I didn't really enjoy Twilight. Honestly, I watched the movies because my sister was really into them. Hi, Beth, if you're watching. Beth really enjoyed the Twilight movies, and so I watched them with her, and honestly, I wasn't super impressed with Twilight. Sorry, all you Twihards out there, but I didn't really like them. I didn't really like the movies very much. So I went through and read the books, and I actually bought the books because we have a Second and Charles store relatively close to us, which sells used books. And I went through, and I think I bought them for like $2 each or something like that. It was like
Very reasonable.
very, very inexpensive. And I bought them so I could read them because I was really getting into writing a couple of years ago. And I was trying to determine the formula for what made them so good and sell so well. I don't think they're well written at all. I'm sorry again if you're a Twihard and you love Twilight. I really honestly don't believe they're well written. But they were big. They were big sellers. They were huge. They made a ton of money. So I was really trying to figure out the formula for that. But I did enjoy the other ones that you pointed out. What were they called?
Hunger Games.
I did enjoy the Hunger Games.
You didn't watch
And then there was another one, the Divergent Insurgent books. I read those.
You also I don't know if you did. I think you have them.
I didn't read Maze Runner.
But you didn't read them yet. I don't think you finished them yet. Miss Peregrine's. Did you finish Miss Peregrine's? Because I know that just.
I read the first one. I didn't read the other two yet.
Because that just was. That just came out in movie.
I love the first one of that. But I mean, there are some books that I just continue to go back to. I continually go back to Harry Potter. Continuing to go back to the Vampire Chronicles. I really enjoy those. I love Sherlock Holmes. I could read Sherlock Holmes over and over and over again. I really enjoy those. Some of them are just one and done. You know, the murder mystery / recipe books. I read them and then I bring them back to the library, and that's like the last I read them. I might go back to them a couple years later, but I don't continually. I don't sit around and wait for the next one to come out, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I will say my stuff about. I do like, probably my favorite genre would probably be horror. There was a brief time that, not really anymore, that I used to want to read Lovecraft.
J.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, H.P. Lovecraft. I tried to find as much as I could on them. I know.
You did get one big book from him, right? From the library?
Did I? I think I did. I don't remember exact, because it's been 2 or 3 years, I believe, but I don't know what it was. I used to just be into a lot of horror, and the thing that really attracted me to Lovecraft was his his building of Cthulhu, and I mean that, and the internet fell in love with Cthulhu at one point, and I don't know what it was. It just his building of that world, the want to create a sort of sense of insanity in a character, that really attracted me, and I've always wanted to try and recreate that sort of description and sense, and I think that was one of the more driving forces was H.P. Lovecraft, and also Stephen King. I did read a little bit of Stephen King. I read Misery. What was it? Wasn't it The Running Man?
Maybe. I don't think I read that. I read It. It's creepy. I'm really looking forward to the new It movie that's coming out. Is it a movie or on the TV? Movie, yeah.
Movie.
I've watched a couple of the trailers for that, and I'm actually really looking forward to that. That book is creepy. Like it was that. If you haven't read it, read the book, because the old movie that came out years and years ago did not do the book justice. So I'm really interested in seeing the new movie.
I mean, I did not read it. I read Misery, I think I read Running Man, and what's the other one?
I don't know. I read a bunch of them.
What's the one?
Christine?
Not Christine. It's the guy who wakes up from his coma and every time he touches someone. Isn't it like The Dead Zone?
The Dead Zone, yeah.
I also read The Dead Zone. Horror has been one of those genres that I like to read here and there. It's definitely interesting. I mean, Legend, one of my more favorite series, I wouldn't say is a horror genre. I would say it's more of sci-fi dystopian, and that's another genre I kind of like to dip in a little. I think the only sort of genre I'm not that interested in is romance. I wouldn't read a romance book unless it was like
Horror romance.
unless it was like trying to be like half and half, like how my mother said about the murder mystery and the baking. Like unless it was trying to be like a little more like interesting. I mean, but I think usually I try and write a more of a horror or mystery kind of ish. Well, not really.
Neil
mystery.
likes to write fiction as well as a hobby. Mostly short stories, but you write fiction as well.
Yeah, I did try and write a book once. It's still unfinished.
Well,
It's just hard. It's just really hard.
Neil's 17, so.
But yeah, I think, like my mother, I try and read some of the stuff I write, which is horror is one of those things. I do like to write a bit of a horror aspect or more of a dark aspect. And most of this, I actually do dislike a lot of teen fiction. Like, any new book, any like new teen fiction book that,
Come on.
that somebody's reading, like
Love
somebody,
Bites?
like that somebody's reading in my grade, I'll always be like, because,
We never read it.
but I expect really the same thing from it. I mean, if you look at Hunger Games and you look at Twilight, there's very similar aspects.
Yeah.
There's two guys, one girl, and one fantasy or idea that you've seen time and time again. With Twilight, it's vampires and werewolves. That's what makes the two guys split apart and their girl want to choose. Hunger Games, it's the guy that it's basically the popular guy versus the not popular guy. Yes, it is.
No.
It's not Peter, it's PETA. Let me say it correctly. If PETA wasn't in the Hunger Games, he wouldn't be popular. That's the only real like defining character arc of him.
So what I find interesting is
He's very.
Neil and I have spent most of this mukbang talking, and John's been spending most of his time eating over there.
He loves chips and salsa.
And John is actually a certified English teacher. He majored in English in college. He read all sorts of different genres, all sorts of different books.
Yep.
And he majored in English in college. Now he is actually a special ed teacher. He has a degree in special education as well as English, but Yeah, he majored in English, and he's the one who's not even talking to me.
I didn't think we were giving literary critiques. Are we giving a literary critique?
Go ahead.
I tend to treasure the proverbial classics, I guess. And that's not very popular. It's not a very popular genre. It's
Well, anymore.
I also like Edgar Allan Poe. Another one of my, he's creepy at a different level.
I would have.
What have you read?
I mean, I haven't actually dived into any of his actual stuff. There's more stuff I've read in class. That's actually interesting.
Oh, he's interesting. I like the Shakespeare stuff. I like Old English. I liked Chaucer's Tales.
Neil's studying that right now in school.
And that's why I decided to poke a little fun. I won't lie. Out of some of the stuff I've read in an English class, I think the Canary Tales is a very, very good read through. I did like the general prologue. I like the two tales that we read. I think it's a great read. I think it's good. I'm trying to afford a sentence. It's not coming to me.
That's okay.
Maybe I should read more.
Maybe you should just take your time and think about it.
Anyway, you're going to say?
I accomplished my goal. There's no guacamole left.
Hey, I helped you.
A little bit. This was approximately almost 1.25 pounds of guacamole.
And I've reached my salt intake for about the next 3 days.
Yeah.
These chips are good, but they're very salty.
I should have got lower salt because I would soon eat chocolate chips. Man.
Is there any? Because me and Mom have stated at least some aspect of a genre or writer that we dislike. Is there anything that you dislike? I
dislike bad writing.
You dislike bad writing. Is there any sort?
I dislike everything I write.
Oh.
I recently, the 50 Shades phenomena. I had to. I mean, it just this.
You didn't read it. I forgot.
I tried.
No, he read like 3 pages.
Didn't you
I tried.
Didn't you try and read the first one?
Yeah, I tried.
That's a hilarious book.
How do you know?
If you don't take it seriously, you just opened.
I think I probably could have somebody read it to me.
I've gone to Target, opened that book to a random page, and it's hilarious.
It's bad.
If you don't take it seriously, if you're not actually wanting to read a book about the sort of stuff they say in that book.
Anybody who likes that series, but the writing in that series, we've never seen the movies. We never went to see the movies that are coming out.
Well, they're horrible.
But
too.
the writing is
it's
very
hilarious.
Poor. It's worse than Twilight.
I wanted to check it.
Fun fact: the 50 Shades of Grey series was a fan fiction based on Twilight. So, if you've read the 2 books, or you know the 2 books.
Oh, you mean the 3?
No, I'm saying the 2 series.
No.
And just keep that in mind that 50 Shades of Grey was a fanfic based on Twilight.
Yeah. It was. Wasn't it? It was like.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would. Just from randomly opening the book, I find it hilarious. So if you don't take it seriously, if you don't look at it as an actual serious novel of what it's trying to portray, it can be hilarious. I
think some of it speaks to your age and so forth.
Just how they play it out. I would agree with Mom. It's badly written in the sort of sense that you can look at it and be hilarious.
If you're reading something to inspire a specific feeling, that I'm sure it serves its purpose. I mean, just like any, that's what as far as what my English degree gives me, it's an author may sit down and write a beautifully constructed piece of writing, and no one No one may like it. It could have all the right words. It could be grammatically correct. It could be spell checked. It could be in the correct voice. It could make sure that it's all at the right levels. And the bottom line is that people will pick it up and read it, and they might feel like the writer's uninspired or
Trying too hard.
I don't know.
There's people that probably say it right. Trying too hard.
Tryhards. I love your generation, Neil. I love it.
Hey, there. Look.
You tried too hard to write a good story. Therefore, we're not interested. No.
You never know.
No, that's not what I'm trying to say. Please don't try to help me make my point.
Yeah, try hard authors.
All I'm saying is that it's what it's whatever the reader wants to hear and wants to see. I mean,
there's no other reason why Twilight or 50 Shades of Grey would have made any money.
No.
It's what people wanted to read.
Yeah, and they enjoyed it, and no matter what style or what voice the writing's in, it doesn't matter. What matters is the people that picked it up, they read it and they enjoyed it, and at no point do I ever want to say to somebody, "Oh wow, you're reading something that's literally inferior to, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I had a writing teacher at one point look at the class I was sitting in and say, "There is no reason anyone should have ever read Twilight, but it is the best piece of crappy writing that I've ever come across. It's my dirty little secret. I read it when I want to read something that's just lightweight and fun to read, and it sits in my bookshelf, and yes, I do continue to read it, but it is crap." So, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but I had a writing teacher say that.
It's a good... It's what people enjoy. And that's... If you heard something that you're like, "Oh my gosh, Omnizy Vegan said this about this." No, don't do that. We did not. We simply...
If you like it, read it.
Yeah, we simply are saying that...
I mean, if you've seen some of the cooking / murder mystery books I've read, yeah,
yeah, we keep reading.
They're not the best piece of literary fiction ever written. So they're just a fun book.
It is. So I mean, there's plot holes in some of the stuff that I read. Actually, a lot of stuff I read.
What, when it comes to trolls and fairies and there's no.
Yeah, a little bit. Anyhow.
I think this has been a good mukbang.
I think this has been a good mukbang. I don't know about you guys over there, but we've eaten almost the entire bag of chips. All that's left over here is a little bit of crumbs.
Nick and I ate about half of this one.
Half of that one?
That's what you get when you don't eat breakfast. That's my fault. I didn't eat any breakfast, so.
I think this will probably be the least edited mukbang you've had to do.
No.
Yeah, it will.
Get out of town.
Yeah, it will.
All right, for Omni's Eat Vegan.
But I really enjoyed this topic. Maybe we'll visit this topic again and delve deeper.
Yes, there you go.
I really enjoyed talking about books. I really love, but I love reading. So
maybe next time we'll have another person, different people, another guest.
I don't know. Maybe we can just talk deeper about certain books or some books. I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe we'll do it like a book club. We'll only read the same book and we can talk about one book.
Anyway, so that's been Mukbang Monday.
If you like this video, give us a thumbs up down below. If you have any recommendations for anything that we could eat or any topics you'd like to hear us talk about, put those in the comments down below. We would really appreciate it because, we can just keep coming up with our own topics, and you might hate them, you might like them, we don't know. So let us know down in the comments below. And if you haven't already and you'd like to be, hit that red subscribe button so you can get notified of when we post our videos, which are our Monday mukbang, which you're watching right now, our Taste Test Tuesdays, which we'll be posting tomorrow, and 2 days from now you'll see our What I Ate in a Day Wednesdays. So those are the 3 videos we post a week on the Omnizy Vegan channel. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye!
Bye!